All right, welcome on in. 10 o'clock this morning on your Friday. And we are so glad that you are here. Fox 10 Talks. I'm Syleste Rodriguez.
Mike Pache,
yes,
right here. We are in it Friday.
That's right. Ron has the day off, and he's probably watching from an airplane somewhere in above in the skies of America, United States. So thank you all, and thank you in the chat for chiming in. We already had at least almost a dozen people waiting to join us, Mike. So this is exciting.
That's a good sign.
It is a good sign, and we're going to help usher you into the weekend. We also have some very big interviews coming up this morning as well, of course, and interesting guests as we cover the nation's top headlines. One of the things, Mike, that you have, you've been covering as well is everything happening in Venezuela.
Yes, yeah, and I mean, talk about it just a week, not even a week ago, all this happening, Saturday morning with the big Maduro extraction, if you will. I mean, it was a extraction at levels we have never really seen before, and now we're seeing maybe not the aftermath, but what's going to happen in the region, especially when it comes to oil as well. Yeah, and our nation's leaders have been voting and discussing this very topic in D.C. We have a very special guest to bring you this morning, Jorge Jraissati. He's a Venezuelan native activist as well, a native of the country, an activist of the country, and president of the Economic Inclusion Group. And let's go ahead and bring him on here now. Jorge, good to see you, my friend. Good morning.
Likewise, very good to see you. Good morning.
We appreciate your time this morning. First, let's start with this. Once you heard the news of what took place there in Venezuela, what was your initial reaction?
My reaction was relief and a sense of optimism, which I think was the reaction of many Venezuelans. Because for too long, Maduro has been turning our country into a socialist nightmare in which every single year the finances of every family gets worse, in which you have political prisoners. So I believe that we are right now at the verge of a new country.
And Jorge, what needs to happen next year? Because it seems, as of right now, that still the Maduro regime, part of them is still going to be continuing to run the country, even though President Trump says they are running it. I mean, what needs to happen as far as other people maybe getting out of there or being extracted as well?
We need to build a transition in Venezuela because Maduro is just one figure, one person, but Venezuela is right now run by criminal groups. They're not only inside the state, but outside the state. You have all these irregular groups, drug dealing operations, Iranian cells. So Venezuela is a very dangerous country. I think the administration has laid down a correct framework for understanding Venezuela, which is that you first need to stabilize Venezuela. You need to find a path and a transition that involves people on the ground, involves people from the regime, but also involves Americans and involves people that want to build a new country. So if you build the stability and security in Venezuela, then you can reactivate the economy and then you can rebuild a political system.
You know, Jorge, you bring up a very interesting point on rebuilding, and I think that is a part of what we're hearing from the long-term plans, anyway, coming from President Trump. What are your thoughts on President Trump's statement that, the U.S. could be there for quite some time? Do you think that helps or hurts the leaders of Venezuela in terms of, reactivating, I guess you could say, a democracy within that country?
Without the U.S. technical support and active participation in a transition in Venezuela, thinking about a transition will be a fantasy. The U.S. has to be involved. It's good for the U.S., first of all. It's good for the U.S. business, national security, and it's good for Venezuelans. At the same time, this cannot be done by the U.S. alone. The U.S. There has to be many Venezuelans, like myself, that we give our expertise or ability to rebuild a country or commitment. Many Venezuelans have to bring back money to the country, to reinvest in the country. So I really believe in a partnership between the Venezuelans who are willing to rebuild the country and the Americans. That's the only way to build a nation. You need to remember, Venezuela, it has been 27 years of socialism, of dictatorship, of economic decline. Things will not be solved in a month, in 2 months. This will be maybe a couple of years of a transition so that we can again have a normal democratic country.
And Jorge, I want to talk a little bit more about that timeline because I think it's so interesting where, you've had these years and years of this oppressive regime and really continuing to almost dismantle the country. How do you get that foundation back from the ground and make Venezuela rise again?
The first or the precondition for everything else have to be reestablishing security in Venezuela, security for the investments that people want to do, security for the people that want to come back to rebuild Venezuela. And then you can start rebuilding through the economics of it. You need to liberalize all the bad socialist policies that are in place in Venezuela. We have different types of exchange rates in Venezuela. We have price controls in Venezuela. We have many businesses, thousands of businesses that were expropriated in Venezuela, meaning that were taken away from people to the government. All these businesses have to be returned. And this goes in all sectors of the economy, from oil and gas to even Bitcoin mining, who was seized in Venezuela. All these companies that were American companies that were running oil fields in Venezuela, their assets have to be returned. At the same time, you have a financial system that is totally collapsed. People don't have financial tools in Venezuela. Mm-hmm. People don't have tools to transact, to buy things. You need to rebuild that. So if you do that, I think investment will come because Venezuela is a country that needs everything. All assets are extremely underutilized in Venezuela.
If you could give us, I was reading one of the, an article, I guess, of some information and comments that you had shared. And if you could give us kind of like a day in the life of a Venezuelan, you had shared in this article that for much of the 20th century, Venezuela was not a poor country. Between 1920 and 1980, it was the fastest growing economy in the world, with GDP per capita expanding at an average of 6.4% per year, placing it among the 20 richest nations globally. But in that same interview, you also talked about how Venezuelan families, 70% of them are now currently in poverty. What is it like right now for Venezuelan families, and how much money does the average family make on a typical month?
Yes, most Venezuelans live in poverty, sadly, and half of my population lives in extreme poverty. Salaries are roughly $200 per month. So for a normal family in Venezuela, the only money they have is money that they spend on food. Venezuela is also an expensive country because if you don't produce anything in your country, then you have to import everything. You need to import your food, you need to import everything. So make things more expensive. Venezuela used to be a rich country and now is the poorest in the region. So for many families, these past decade or 2 decades have been the most difficult ones in their life. We just come from Christmas. Most Venezuelan families spend their Christmas separated from each other, in which maybe the grandmother is in Venezuela, the daughter is in Colombia, the son is in Europe, and maybe an uncle is in the US. It's just complete devastation from that perspective. That's why all the Venezuelans that you can read on X or that you can see on the street are celebrating what Trump did with Maduro, because Maduro represents all the madness in our life, all the problems in our life. And all the people, or the only people that actually don't like the situation, are people that are not from Venezuela.
Well, Jorge, thank you so much for joining us on Fox 10 Talks, really giving us a perspective of what is happening. And we're hoping for the very best as it maybe now we are starting to see, especially a light at the end of the tunnel, maybe. Yeah,
I think so. And as you mentioned, Jorge, I think it'll take some time. We look forward to chatting with you again and hope we can reach out to you and you can spend some more time with us here this morning. But we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Anytime. And have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend. Thank you so much. We also have another very important guest to bring you here this morning. We have Kevin Robinson, retired Assistant Phoenix Police Chief and current City Councilman, here with us this morning. Good to see you.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Yeah. Pull that in if you can for me, just a little bit, that
Certainly.
microphone. Thank you so much. One of the big topics as well, and Mike, I'll kind of let you talk about this a little bit, is, of course, what's happening in Minneapolis, what's happening in Portland, and of course with ICE.
Yeah, absolutely. We are seeing a lot of the videos come out now, protesters happening all across the country once again. But Kevin, first off, what did you think when you saw the video in Minneapolis? There's different types of angles, but what was your first reaction?
You know, there are different types of angles, and I've taken the time to watch as many as I could possibly find. And what we have happening is, you know, there are several things going on at the same time. And I hate to be critical of anyone in law enforcement, especially someone involved in a deadly force encounter. But the bottom line is there was a lot of confusion, a great deal of confusion. You had two ICE agents yelling at the driver on one side. The other ICE agent went around the front of the car. So, you know, you have someone in front of a car and then it starts to move. The officer felt for whatever reason that it was appropriate for them to use deadly force, and they did. So I have concerns about the tactics that were used. When you have law enforcement, when you have a couple of law enforcement officers yelling at somebody, screaming, and people were yelling, get out of here, get out of the car. You know, who do you listen to? What orders do you follow? So there's a great deal of confusion there. And then you had the ICE agent go around to the front of the car. Law enforcement officers try to the best they can, in some circumstances, are going to force someone to be in front of a car.
Right.
You try the best you can not to get in front of a car, because at one point or another it may move forward, or in the back of a car, or it may move backwards, and then you get in a situation where you need to react somehow. In this case, the ICE agent decided to use deadly force. I would prefer to get all of the information. I would prefer to wait for the investigation to be completed before I truly have what would be an informed opinion on what happened, because we all saw it.
Yeah,
it was horrific.
Yeah.
Someone died. You know, you can't take that back.
Can you hang with us for a little bit longer? We have a quick break. So we want to show everyone at home this mystery camera. We're going to give you the answer right around 10:30, but we're going to take a quick break for a quick moment. Much more with Councilman Robinson after a quick break. We'll be right back.
right now.
All right, welcome back, everyone. And we do have some guesses for the mystery camera in there. I think somebody said Washington, Montana. We also had a Colorado as well. So hold those because we're going to go back to it at 10:30. We're going to give you another opportunity. So Dean Fazzini back in live control. If you can hold this for us, we want to get back to one of the big topics, of course, that a lot of you have been talking about, and some big headlines that we covered as breaking news here on Fox 10 Talks as well. Again, we are joined by Kevin Robinson, retired Assistant Phoenix Police Chief and current City Councilman. Thank you again for your time. We have, I think you have I was just saying in the break, a really unique perspective, both as like a city leader and as somebody who helped lead the Phoenix Police Department. Let's go ahead and play a piece of this interview. It's what took place in Minnesota, and it's all about the shooting, of course, involving ICE agents.
And I just want to make this as clear as possible to everyone. Minnesota must be part of this investigation.
They have not been cut out. They don't have any jurisdiction in this investigation.
It feels now that Minnesota has been taken out of the investigation. It feels very, very difficult that we will get a fair outcome.
You have a woman who was trying to obstruct a legitimate law enforcement operation. You have a woman who aimed her car at a law enforcement officer and pressed on the accelerator.
So you have, there's a video of the scene, and then you have comment from both sides. And Mike, I think it's, the feds are saying we want to handle the investigation, and then the local government. Tim Walz is saying the governor, he wants them to handle it there in the state. Yeah,
and I want to get your perspective, Kevin. Does it bother you where you have some lawmakers that are really trying to almost push the needle and talk about? We had Governor Tim Walz, when this first happened, do the news conference and almost theorized that maybe this agent was a rogue agent, saying terms like that. Is that beneficial early on when an investigation is just getting going?
Well, I'll give you my experience. The best thing you can do in any situation, especially when deadly use of force is used, the best thing is to wait to get all of the information. What we saw happen in Minneapolis was information was coming out from the federal side, from the local side, and quite honestly, I don't think any of them knew fully of what they were talking about. They just didn't. There were comments about the car being aimed at, people being injured. Surely someone was killed, but you have to wait to get all of the facts. The Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, came out with a version that turned out not to be accurate. She got that from somebody. Somebody told her that. Personally, I don't know why that person is still employed. Whoever told her that information, they were wrong on a lot of levels. And obviously the federal administration is saying things, but they're getting the information from somebody. The best thing that everyone could do in situations like this is to wait. Wait to get all of the information. Speak to the people on the ground at the scene who could speak to the facts.
And I think in this day and age with so many cameras, right, you'd think people had their cell phones out, or homes had their Nest cameras or Ring cameras. What are your thoughts on who should handle the investigation?
Quite honestly, it can be a joint investigation, and it probably should be, because what we have to understand is there is a community that's in mourning now, a community that has some ill feelings toward federal law enforcement. Federal law enforcement has to understand that. They have to understand that law enforcement works best when we're working collaboratively with the community, and that's not going to happen in this situation if things keep moving in the direction they're moving in. I think a collaborative investigation, a joint investigation by local and feds should come to the same conclusion, because the facts don't lie. Just rely on the facts, move on from there, comment on the facts, don't comment on theory or anything else, what group someone may have belonged to or anything along those lines. Rely on the facts. What's going to happen at one point, the agent is going to be interviewed. The agent will explain why he fired his weapon. And they're going to have to articulate those reasons based on what federal guidelines say when you can fire your weapon, and you base your decision on that information and not before. When I was a spokesman for the Phoenix Police Department, I couldn't tell you how many officer-involved shootings I'd go out on. And that first version of the story, that I'd get waken up in the middle of the night, this is what happened, that would always change. Wait till you get out to the scene, you hear what's going on, you allow the investigators to talk to the people they need to talk to, review the information that is available, and then make a decision based on all of that information before you go out in the public and talk about anything.
You know, the last few days, to get your thoughts on this, the last few days there have been a number of different, reports, and we've looked into them, and we've, our newsroom, and called ICE and asked for comment on this. But there were some rumors about whether or not we were going to have ICE deportations here in the Valley. And there were some activists that were concerned about that. As somebody who is a leader in the city, do you get the heads up when something like that happens, or is it kind of a surprise?
I would say yes to both.
Okay.
Simply because there are going to be times where I think hopefully our law enforcement, our police chief, Matt Giordano, has an exceptional relationship with his federal partners. So, hopefully there's a chance the chief might get a heads up that this is happening. We're moving additional agents here. And if that's the case, clearly he would let city leadership be aware of it. So that happens sometimes, and sometimes it does not. If it does happen here, I am hopeful. I am very hopeful that they will conduct themselves in a manner that is appropriate. And what I mean by that, they're professional law enforcement officers. Act like it. Yeah. I personally, I'll be the first one to call out any law enforcement officer that doesn't do what they're supposed to do from a professional standpoint. I will. I mean, just simply because I dedicated 36 and a half years of my life to that profession, and being professional, doing things the right way for the right reasons, I don't think it's that difficult.
And it goes a long way.
It goes a very long way. And local law enforcement is then expected to establish and continue a relationship with the community. If you act in such a way that you're not continuing that relationship with the community, it does not help anyone in the long run. And that's what I want folks to understand. And from a federal standpoint, I don't, this is me personally, I don't like masked police officers. I do not like that. I don't think it's fair, but I understand the argument that some of these officers, once they're identified, they're harassed. I get that. I understand it, but I still don't like officers being masked and not knowing who they are. There was never a time when I was not willing to tell someone who I was, what my badge number was. This is my supervisor. I would always do that for anyone who would ask, because I conducted myself appropriately.
Yeah.
And I think when you're masked up and you're out there doing some of the things that we see on television, it gives people an opportunity to complain. I used to tell the officers who work for me, never give someone a stick to beat you with, meaning don't go out and act in a manner that someone can criticize later.
Right.
Be professional, be above board, do what you're supposed to do, follow the rules. If you have a reason to stop someone, you need to be able to articulate that reason why you stop them, not based on what you look like.
I think that's a good rule in life, don't you think? Like, just do what you're supposed to do, but, go above and beyond, and, Yeah,
that's exactly right. My mother used to tell us when we would go out, I have 3 siblings, and she would say, don't embarrass your grandparents.
There you go.
And that really should be, I think, the rule that law enforcement lives by. Don't do anything that's going to embarrass your profession, that's going to embarrass you personally.
All right, Kevin, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
We hope you'll come back. Yeah.
Yes.
Anytime, just let me know. I really appreciate it. And thank you for the opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. We are going to give you another look here as we prepare to move on here on Fox 10 Talks. You can go ahead. You can walk through. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, Councilman. Thank you. And thank you for all the, we're going to get to the mystery camera after the 10:30 break. But right now we have another big interview coming up here this morning, Mike.
Yes, we have Fox News' Kaylee Schuyler continuing to give us the updates on a big federal court hearing once again for Luigi Mangione.
Yeah, that is one of the cases I think a lot of people have been watching very, very close here this morning. So let's go right to Kaylee. What? Let me go to ENG 21 here this morning, and I'll pull her in. Kaylee, can you hear us okay?
Hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us? Hello? Hi, Kaylee. Can you hear us okay? Oh, I don't think she can hear us right now. Okay, we are going to work on that audio, and we're going to go back out. Let's go ahead and cut her mic here if we can. Let's go back out to the mystery camera. This actually is one of the beautiful shots in the valley. It is a beautiful field, low philosophy, absolutely. And we are going to, many of you have already given your votes on what the mystery camera was. We're going to reach out to Dean Fazzini and see if he can throw that back up for us in a little bit. But this was a beautiful shot. The other shot we had, Mike, was like a snowy scene.
Yeah.
Do you have a guess on that mystery camera?
I was guessing Colorado, somewhere in Colorado.
Oh, you were good. Yeah. Many of you had guessed also Colorado. We had a few coming in with northern Mexico. I'm reading through your comments, by the way. So thank you all for sharing your comments. Low Philosophy said that's a beautiful field. And we have a lot going on here this morning as well. Husky Mom, good morning to you. David Perry, Linda Monterth. And Ron is off today. And of course, we will see him again after he gets back from a little vacay, few days off for sure. Jared of Sonora says that is a beautiful shot as well. And let's go back out to some. Oh, I believe we have Kaylee on the phone. To bring her up. Kaylee, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, wonderful. We see your face there and we can hear your voice. You are in front of the courthouse. What are you covering here when it comes to Luigi Mangione case?
So right now they're in court. His team just wrapped up 26 minutes of oral arguments. Both sides have up to 30, but his team saved 4 for a rebuttal after the prosecution goes. So court's actually on a 10-minute break right now. And that's kind of where we're at. I have some updates about a trial date and an evidentiary hearing. And that's kind of the updates there.
It looks like you still have, has it been busy there in court when it comes to this case? What are you hearing from people in and around who are affected by the case as well?
So right now, it hasn't been super busy here outside of court. There were some of his supporters who were out here chanting in Cherry earlier, free Mangione. But inside court, this is actually the first time Mangione has been back in court for his federal case since April. Of course, just last month, he was in court for his state case. But otherwise, it's been pretty quiet out here. There's been a lot of high-profile cases going on around here. So I think this is just another day for New Yorkers.
Kaylee, if you could stay with us here, we have to get one break in, and then we will continue to get some updates here.
Oh, I believe our window is done. Kaylee, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. We hope to get that camera up and working the next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we had that live look at the courtroom. Here is, a cool shot anyways of a beautiful green field. We're working our way through some of these little technical difficulties, and we appreciate all of you hanging with us. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everyone. Yes, this is a beautiful shot, little philosophy of this green field, Mike.
I would guess for this one, Montana somewhere. How about that?
Probably. So this is kind of mystery camera part 2. But for a lot of you who already voted for the mystery camera at 10:15, we are going to show that at 10:45. So Dean Fazzini is going to bring it back to us. We do have another very special guest this morning.
Yes, we do. This is Warren Petersen. Thanks so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox, candidate for Arizona Attorney General, going to be taking on Chris Mays.
That's right. Thank you for having me this morning.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Yeah. We were just chatting a moment ago about New Year's resolutions and goals.
Yeah. So mine is, have a good legislative session. So
yeah.
Opening day coming on Monday, so coming fast.
How does that work out, a good legislative session with all these different people that come in and have different ideas about how the state should work and operate? Yeah. How do you even begin to let everybody play well on the playground?
Yeah, it's really an incredible process. There's only there's 60 representatives, 30 senators, and these are the people that make the laws for the state. They represent every square inch of Arizona, and everyone comes in with their different interests and ideas. But we have, a process to give everybody a chance to have their ideas heard, have things debated, have things voted on. For me, you can tell if it's a success if we follow. I think our Constitution got it right. Article 2, Section 2 of our Constitution says that the role of government is to protect individual rights. So for me, our legislative session is a success if we've protected people's rights. So
I want to talk too about what's going through the legislature right now, SNAP benefits. Really zeroing in though on fast food, if it should be included in the SNAP benefits. It's a big talking point right now where a lot of people feel that fast food shouldn't be part of a SNAP benefits or EBT.
Yeah, so we're just now at the point, we haven't started with committees or anything. People are starting to drop bills. That's something we've had in the past where people would like, if you're looking at a welfare program, they would like for it to be focused on healthy foods rather than on foods that are unhealthy. Obviously, obesity, and if you have health issues, those costs also, you're looking at additional costs to our economy and, to the state. And so we have seen that in the past. I think there was something that actually moved similar. It might be the same bill. I haven't seen it yet, but that was wanting more healthy foods. If welfare is paying for it, that they need to be more nutritious and more healthy. Unfortunately, from what I recall, the governor vetoed that. It sounds like we're making another stab at that.
Mm-hmm. So you're from the East Valley.
I am.
Yeah, Gilbert, Arizona.
Yes, ma'am.
You said third generation.
Third generation resident, yes.
Yeah, very cool. What would you like voters to know? You're running for Arizona Attorney General.
Yeah.
What would you like voters to know about what makes you right for that job?
Yeah, well, I was actually recruited to run, asked to run by people who used to work for the office because they're really concerned about the direction that our current Attorney General has been taking our state. We're starting to drift toward California. If you've kind of watched her and her priorities have been political lawfare. Her priorities have been environmentalism. I really just want to bring the office back to what it should be doing. The office should be focused on crime, keeping Arizona safe. I think a big word for 2026 is going to be fraud. What we're seeing out there in Minnesota is just the tip of the spear. We have it here in Arizona. The federal government is really cracking down on this. I applaud the federal government. Nobody wants fraud. None of us want our taxpayer dollars wasted. And yet we have an AG right now who is blocking the Trump administration from looking into possible voter fraud. She's also blocking the Trump administration from looking into welfare fraud. Well, I would be on the very other side of this. Not only would I not try to block the federal government, I would work hand in hand with federal law enforcement to completely eliminate fraud here in the state of Arizona. And I would also make sure that our elections are secure. People want to know they're voting and that their vote counts. we need to have that confidence in our elections. And so I would definitely breed that confidence. But also, fraud, it affects everybody. It costs everybody money. We want these programs to be used by people who need them. We don't want these programs used by people who are fraudsters, or even worse, fraudsters in other countries. It's better to have a fraudster probably in the U.S. than a fraudster in some other country, but it's all bad. So,
so do you think what's happening in Minnesota is also happening here?
Absolutely. I think it's absolutely happening here. And the people that solve that are your executive branch. That's your governor. They have agencies that can solve that. But even more, it's your attorney general. And so I think that'll be a big contrast between me and the sitting attorney general, is that I will really focus on crime and crack down on fraud.
Does it blow your mind that it took a YouTuber in Minnesota to start putting some cracks in the fraud system, when should have been, state investigators maybe looking at this? What's it going to take here in Arizona to kind of try to uncover some of the fraud that's going on here?
Yeah. Well, it's going to take a brave YouTuber. It's going to take a new governor and a new attorney general. So, again, it just goes back to another reason why I'm running. I want to go back to the tenets of what the AG should be doing. Fight crime, number one, first and foremost. Keep Arizona safe. I want to eliminate government corruption, eliminate any kind of fraud that's out there. And then I also want to defend our laws and defend the Constitution. Right now we have an AG, again, she's not defending our laws. Just some common sense laws. And I'm actually going to the Supreme Court next week on one of the laws that she wouldn't defend. We passed a law several years ago that said no boys can play in girls' sports. Our AG thinks it's okay for boys to play in girls' sports. I do not. I think only girls should be able to play in girls' sports. So she did not defend the law, but I have defended the law. It's gone all the way to the Supreme Court, and we're looking at a very positive outcome here in the next few months. We think that the U.S. Supreme Court is going to side with Arizona and our law that only girls should be able to play in girls' sports.
What are the most important issues affecting Arizona right now? I spoke with a woman not too long ago, and she had lived here for a while, moved to Florida, and she was back and she was walking. I was out. She's in my neighborhood, and I happened to walk out and meet her. And so we're talking to her. She used to live in the neighborhood. She was walking around, and she said, what's going on with the state legislature? The state of Arizona is more purple now, when it used to be red. She's like, when I lived here. What is happening? You're the Senate president, right? President of the Senate.
Yeah.
What are the dynamics there with leadership, and what should voters know? What should the citizens of Arizona know about that?
Well, what I can tell you is that we have been passing conservative policies, Republican policies, for well over a decade. And as a result, we've had 200 people moving here every day. She's back here, and a lot of people come here. And if you ask them why do they come, they say, well, it's safe, low taxes, great education opportunities, great place to run my business. What they're really saying is that we like the laws that the legislature is passing.
Yes.
So this session, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to continue to deliver a conservative agenda. We've done it the last 3 years. Even though we've had a Democrat governor, we've been in divided government, we've been able to deliver a conservative agenda. We've passed tax cuts every year for the last 3 years. This year is going to be no difference. In fact, one of the biggest things this year is that we're going to pass one of the biggest tax cuts in the history of Arizona.
I think everybody's ears perked up. Okay, we need details on that one.
Well, it's affordability is top of mind for everybody, right? And so, of course, one of the best things we can do with affordability is take less money to government, more money back to the citizens. So we are, when Trump passed the big beautiful bill, or Congress passed the big beautiful bill, they had several tax cuts. Those are on the federal level. We would like to conform Arizona state taxes to the federal taxes, which means significant cuts. In this instance, we're talking $1.1 billion. So a lot of things you heard about: no tax on tips, no interest on new car loans. There were some business tax cuts. There was tax cuts for retirees. So there's very broad-based, affects a lot of people. And so we're going to be pushing that this session.
Warren, I was thinking back when you were talking about Chris Mays, and it seemed a lot of people would say, to get her attention, you have to be another AG, Democratic AG, to add to the name of a lawsuit, right? Because it seems lately that the counter in 2025 was just how many lawsuits against the Trump administration was happening. What's it going to take to, at the end of the day, all right, maybe less on the politics, more on the people of the state.
Yeah. Well, I can't speak for her. I can only speak for myself. You're right. You're exactly right. She's in over 32 lawsuits. That's millions of dollars that could be used to fight crime and keep Arizona safe, which is what people really expect from the AG. They don't necessarily care that she's in all these spats with her political opponents. So what it's going to take is it's going to take a new AG. That's one of the reasons why I'm running, or it's going to take a 180-degree change in her ideology and philosophy. That's probably not going to happen.
So when you look at running for office, and I'll ask you this, and then we'll close because we have a break coming up. What are you? What is kind of like the vision of your campaign? Do you walk the neighborhoods? Are you on social media, or is it a little bit of everything?
It's everything you've seen or thought of with retail politics. So I announced last February. Since then, I have done over 200 events around the state of Arizona. So we've been to every county. We've been to every county but one so far. We've been to cities all over the place, meeting with people, talking to people. So we also do, of course, mailers, communications that way, but we've done a whole bunch of events, and then of course we have digital communications that we do as well.
I think TikTok might be calling.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know. Warren Petersen, thank you for your time this morning. We so appreciate it. Candidate for Arizona Attorney General and current President of the Senate. All right, let's go right back to this mystery camera, and this is your mystery camera today. They may have moved the camera, but it's very similar to what you saw earlier. It's a snowy scene, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a set of a Hallmark movie.
It does, actually. If we can come up with a great title when it comes to this one, maybe like Snowy Village on the Lake or something. I don't know. All right, we're going to take a quick break. And Mike, thank you so much for joining, my friend.
Happy Friday.
Oh, we're going to... Should the Senate vote to pass the House bill to extend the ACA healthcare subsidies, 19% of you say yes, 75% of you say no, and 6% of you say maybe. Let's go to the YouTube version here this morning. Wow, look at this number, Mike.
Yeah, that is a different type of number there, but a huge number right there for yes, this is long overdue. And then you got 27% at no, the Affordable Care Act should end.
All right, and after the break, we are going to be reading your comments, but 2.6 thousand votes.
Yeah, that's a lot.
On this one, my goodness. We'd love to hear from you, by the way. Lots of comments on this topic, and we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We will be right back. Here is your mystery camera. Welcome back, everyone. This is your mystery camera this morning. This snowy, beautiful scene on it looks like an icy lake. Now we are joined by Ty Brennan.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, my friend. How are you? Long time no see.
Long time no see. It's been a while.
It's been about 45 minutes.
They got to keep us together as we get separation anxiety.
Yeah, I know. We get all nervous and sweaty, and like sometimes there's tears, and it's like.
Do we guess this, or do people at home guess it?
People at home have been guessing it.
Okay.
We've had some northern New Mexicos. We've had some Colorados. Wisconsin from Little Philosophy. Maine from Linda Monter. Troy says Minnesota. What are you thinking, my friend?
I'm going to go Minnesota, too. That just looks like a cold Minnesota.
Minnesota. Okay, would you like to do the honors?
Yeah, okay. I never get to do this. It's like the Oscars. What's the show where they look at the envelope?
Let's see. Oh, yeah, there you are.
Oh, that's an extreme close-up. Lake George, New York.
Oh, it's New York. Okay, there it is. There's a quick look there. That does look like a very nicey. Mike Pache was in here for about 45 minutes hanging with us, talking about some big topics, and he said it looked like something kind of out of, I don't know, like a storybook, like a Hallmark movie.
It kind of does, right? Or like a murder mystery.
Oh,
Someone's going to get murdered in that house.
Okay, now it's getting dark. Now it's getting dark.
Sorry.
We did invite you here.
That's why you don't invite me for the 10 o'clock, right?
Okay, we're going to go ahead and show you that poll question one more time. Many of you have chimed in on this, and we have had so much discussion about this. The Senate vote to pass the House bill to extend ACA healthcare subsidies. This was why we were in the middle of a government shutdown. But now, our nation's leaders are discussing this once again. Yes, 19% of you know the Affordable Care Act should end. 76% of you say that is the case. Ty Brennan, would you like to read the YouTube poll?
Okay, so this is our other YouTube poll. So Fox 10 Talks poll. Should the Senate vote? I thought we just did that poll.
We did. Okay, so we do one on TV.
Oh, neither. Oh.
And then this one is just on YouTube.
Okay, see, again, I'm new, so
you know what?
bear
Welcome. We're happy you're here.
I was like, how many polls we got going on this place? All right, so this one
well, it depends on what type of establishment you're talking about, Ty Brennan.
So yes, 66% of you on YouTube say yes, this is long overdue. 27% of you say no, the Affordable Care Act should end. And 7% say maybe, but only while they compromise on a new health care policy.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now we're going to get some comments from Big D.
Well, hi, friends. There have been more than 110 comments on this poll. I'm going to read 5. Pinky6758 says, if the ACA ends, what stops health insurers from bringing back discrimination against people with long-term health problems? What stops health insurers from bringing back lifetime caps on what they pay out no matter how much you pay in? The ACA is so good that people cannot even remember how bad and predatory health insurance was before the ACA. Bricks for Kids, Tri-Valley East, BA 960 says, how about the government goes after these insurance companies and hospitals and reduces the cost of health care without having the taxpayers pay the bill? It's ridiculous that it's my second highest expense and I have to wait 2 months to get a doctor's appointment. Robert Kurtz, 6691, says the ACA was supposed to save families thousands a year. Instead, it's a blank check for the insurance companies and rates still skyrocket. The Democrats actually broke health care and blame Trump for it, and now just want to cut another check for the scam. And finally, Spacey Stay says insurance companies are a middleman that needs to be cut out of our health care. CEOs are making major bank on our dime when we need health care and are denied. Insurance companies increase our health care costs drastically. A lot of passion here. Keep the comments coming, everybody.
Great job, Dave. You got 2 thumbs up, right, Ty?
Yeah, he's a good comment reader.
And you know what I think we're going to do? Look, I think what we're going to do, Big D, I think what we're going to do next time, we're going to do a round robin because people are loving Smiling Dave. Look at Husky Mom. Smiling Dave. They just want to see your smile, Dave. So we're going to do a round robin on Monday and just show everybody's smiling face.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
There's another smiling face.
We do. Hi.
How are you guys?
We do have a very special guest here. They invited Drew Kliber in. Kliber, my apologies. Drew Kliber of Wilde Wealth Management. Because Ty, they saw our spending habits over Christmas, me and you, and they were okay, Ty and Syleste, they need some help. Let's bring Drew in.
I think that's a big resolution that a lot of folks have is kind of reining in the spending, especially after the holidays, because you've got the presents, you've got people coming over, you're going out to eat, doing all sorts of stuff, and then you get those credit card bills. And I did one of those this morning. I opened my Amex statement, and I was like,
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah. Well, who did you spend that on?
No, who knows?
I mean,
probably a lot of myself, let's be honest.
When you see something on sale, it's hard to say no.
I know. So we're talking about this kind of the new year. And Drew, we thought you'd be the perfect person to kind of weigh in on all of this, maybe taking a little diet from spending. But it's easier said than done. But it's sometimes those smallest little expenses add up to the most.
For sure. They call it
lean in if you can to the microphone. It's like a radio show.
They call it the financial hangover, right? After the holidays, and you kind of have a little bit of downside once the family leaves, the kids go back to school, the tree comes down, and you sit there, and all of a sudden, reality sets in, and the bills start coming in the mail. So, we all get them. And my advice to people is, if you have more than one credit card, which a lot of people do, look at it, figure out which one has the highest interest rate. If you can only pay a little bit, try to pay more than the minimum and get yourself on a plan to pay down all of it as soon as you possibly can.
Should you only have one credit card? Or do you even believe in credit cards? Dave Ramsey doesn't even believe in credit cards. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, personally, I have a credit card. I have an Amex and a Visa. And
those are the only two?
Those are the only two.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
He's racking up the Flyers miles, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so I try to pay them off full each month. I do pay them off full each month. And I think that those that can't, I highly recommend you try to get on a plan that does it, because these interest rates on these credit cards are 27% plus on some of them. Some are in the 30s. It's ridiculous. So it's really hard to get back on track if you don't have a plan to get them paid off or paid down as much as you possibly can.
When you say a plan, what exactly do you mean a plan? Do you kind of make that plan yourself, or are there actual, banks or other entities, maybe like yourself at a financial institution, can help you kind of come up with the plan?
Yeah, all of the above. I tell people just sit down and figure out, what you bring and what you spend. And, don't feel guilty for spending during the holidays, right? It's fun. And, some of my friends always say you can't put a price on a good time. But I say, well, yeah, you can.
Oh, I was like, yeah, I'm with your friend.
Yeah, okay, let's go.
But, yeah, you can, and when the holidays get over, then you have to pay that price, right?
Yeah.
So you have to sit down and kind of look at it. And the plan is, figure out what you bring home, figure out what your expenses are. Don't ruin your fun factor of January, February, March, April, however long it's going to take you out to pay them off. Still enjoy life a little bit, but make sure you're paying more than the minimums. Make sure you're paying off as much as you possibly can to avoid those interest charges that are going to come every month, whether you like it or not.
If you have a multiple credit, and I ask this because I pay off my credit cards every month.
Sure.
I try not to spend. My kids think I'm super cheap, and maybe I am, but I'm like, you're expensive, these kiddos,
I can only imagine.
And so some people, I remember when college, those credit card companies are on college campuses signing up these college kids, getting them the credit fast. I was one of those kids.
And they're always giving you freebies.
Yeah, always. Like a free, a Discover Card T-shirt or something. I'm like, when am I going to wear this thing? But, and next thing you know, it's 5 years later and you've got multiple cards. So I think a lot of Americans are in that boat. And where do you begin? Is it can balance transfers and then just focusing on one card, or is it a nightmare to call some of those companies to help you pay off your debt?
Well, yeah, the debt companies are, they charge a fee for, and I don't know if that's wise for people to do. I mean, maybe in some cases for sure. College campuses, I think that's sort of a racket. They're suckering these college kids into getting these credit cards. For my, I have kids in college. For my kids, I put them on my joint card to help them build credit when they were young.
So if you put them on your card, because I have a daughter in college now. Yep. If I add her as an authorized user, she's then building credit?
Correct.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. She builds it right along with you. She basically assumes, kind of assumes your credit.
Yeah.
But it counts for her.
I assume her
just make sure she's not ching on mom's card.
When she's using your card, you're assuming the cost.
Does that work also, obviously, with anybody you put on that card? So if your daughter and your mom needs credit or vice versa,
Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is, once you put them on your card, you're responsible for those charges that they ring up. So, and you can't really limit the charges from your card to another card because a lot of them have the same number.
Yes.
But there's ways you can do it, and it helps build your college kids' credit. up soon or quicker than normal
idea.
than, to have them getting their own card, because that's where they get suckered in, getting their own cards.
Drew, I have a quick question for you from the chat. Buddha Sheep is asking, do you recommend getting a personal loan if the credit card debt gets out of control to get the overall monthly payments consolidated down? Or does that just kind of
I would only recommend that if your personal loan interest rate is a lot cheaper than your credit card.
Okay, so make sure you're checking those numbers.
And then if you do that, make sure you take your personal loan, pay off your credit cards, and then 2 months later, don't go back and run up more credit card debt, because now you just have double the debt.
Yeah, no kidding. One last question here, and then we'll wrap up, unless Ty wants to lay out all his bills.
I would love someone to go through it.
If folks want to buy a house, what's the right way to go about it? You hear people say interest rates will never be as low as they were before. And, how do you even begin that process?
Well, today the 30-year mortgage rate dropped below 6%.
Hey, that's good news.
I mean, when I bought my first house, it was 9%, and I thought I'd died and gone to heaven on 9%. And then I refinanced it 2 and change, which we'll probably never see again.
Yeah.
But, I think if you're in the 5s, which is where they were this morning, high 5s.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and the government's already said they're going to lower rates. So, the key is your down payment funds, right? And that's why it's the affordability thing is a lot of these companies are trying 20 to 25% down on first home, and that's where they're getting people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's ways out there that you can reduce that down percentage, but then you have to pay mortgage insurance and all that kind of stuff. So you kind of have to run the numbers yourself and see what you can afford. But there's ways right now, and the rates are the best they've been in years right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Ty, do you want to lay your bills out?
I know. I was like, how long does Drew stay? Well, I'm pretty financially responsible for the most part.
Yeah, I think you are too. Although we were in a commercial break a couple of days ago, and Ty goes, "Oh my gosh, my bill!" And I was like, "What are you spending? What is happening?"
Nobody knows. It just happens.
It really does, right? All of a sudden, you just like, what did I spend all that money on?
I know.
Yeah, and those that use it for like everyday living expenses, that's where you kind of get yourself in trouble. Yeah. Right. I mean, as you say, they build up, and when you start looking down, and Uber Eats. I mean, I've never done Uber Eats or anything.
Don't start. It's a bad habit.
And my kids that have my card, I see quite a few Uber Eats on my card, and I'm like, I don't know who's doing this.
Yeah, you're like, where's this coming from?
Yeah.
You're like, I didn't have Chipotle. What happened?
5 times every day.
1:30 in the morning.
We've got 30 seconds left. How can folks get a hold of you, Drew?
My work number is 406-206. 2688.
What's your social security number?
I have a Montana number because I have offices in Montana, but I'm home based out of here, out of Arizona here. So,
all right, good to see you, Drew.
Great to see you guys.
Thank
you for having me. I appreciate it. Happy New Year.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and give you a beautiful shout out. Thank you so much for joining us 10 to 11. We appreciate it. And good morning to many of you in the chat that are new. We appreciate that as well. Ty, we're going to toss it over to you. Ty and Danielle. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome on in. We're going to continue things here on Fox 10 Talks now at 11. Hold on, I got to get my right sheet.
There
There's
you
a lot
go.
going
Get
on
it right.
Today.
Get it right.
Here we go.
We have the one and only Justin Lum with us here.
Good morning.
This morning.
How are you?
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. TGIF.
Oh, we're struggling.
We're
going to need you to pick us up.
We're almost there.
Yep.
Good to
Carry
be with
us
you
home,
guys.
Justin.
You're always working on some crazy investigations. Give us kind of a brief rundown of what you're working on now, Justin.
Well, as you know, like for the past several months, we've covered the White Mountain Apache tribe, and we've been able to dig deeper into what was going on with the White Mountain Apache chairman, who was under investigation for sexual misconduct. Now, as that was going on, we learned of these new charges against a former police officer there on the tribe, who is now charged with sexual abuse, kidnapping, and violating people's rights under the color of law because he's a law enforcement officer. And the FBI spoke to us and says there are definitely way more victims. We go over that in our report that we can show everyone for a little primer.
Sure.
And it was initially a former employee, right, that came forward? Or that was against that was the first
chairman's case. So
Got
basically,
it
it illustrates sort of what is going on here on the reservation and the turmoil that's going on. Again, these are allegations right now, but now you have a chairman who's under investigation, who's actually running for re-election still now in 2026, and then you have this former officer who is believed to have hurt a lot of people on duty. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to play that story, and then we'll come back and we'll probably have a lot more questions for you, Justin.
For
so
sure.
everybody take a look.
We're learning more about 42-year-old Carl Leslie following his arrest. A witness shared this photo of the scene at the Canyon Day home where FBI and SWAT took Leslie into custody Wednesday morning.
This is really shocking to learn about him, and it's unfortunate because the community, they put a lot of trust in our officers. And when something like this happens, it really destroys that trust.
Danielle Klei used to work in law enforcement, including the Salt River Police. But from 2011 to 2014, she was an officer for White Mountain Apache PD, a co-worker of Carl Leslie. She says they even went to the same middle school.
Carl was just one of those guys that kept to himself, and he was somebody I worked with. We never became friends, even though we knew each other our whole life. We weren't friends.
Now Leslie is charged with 15 counts in this indictment, including aggravated sexual abuse, kidnapping, sexual abuse through fear and coercion, deprivation of rights under color of law, and kidnapping a victim under 18. The alleged incidents happened between December 2020 and September 2023. The FBI says Leslie raped and kidnapped 2 of the 3 victims, one of them a minor. The indictment also says he had sex with a 3rd victim by threatening her. All the victims are members of the White Mountain Apache tribe. FBI agents believe Leslie targeted women and men between 2019 and 2024. As for the color of law, civil rights attorney Benjamin Taylor explains.
Anybody in the federal role who has law enforcement agency experience has to fall under the color of law to make sure that they are not violating the law themselves.
And not abusing their position of power to violate people's constitutional rights. Photos from the White Mountain Apache Police Facebook show Carl Leslie in years past at community events. He worked for the department from April 2007 through June 2024. Heath Yonke, special agent in charge at FBI Phoenix, believes there are more potential victims.
My message to those victims or to those that know of other victims, please come forward and report your information to the FBI.
Right now would be a great time to say something. Otherwise, this is going to be swept under the rug.
So with that, Justin, and just out of curiosity, and I'm sure a lot of people are curious too, if something does happen, like on tribal land, the relation of like where does it carry over, and then it's now being tried here, and like where is the connection between, how does it all come about?
So automatically, once that investigation takes place, the FBI has jurisdiction. It's a federal case. These are federal charges. And so this man, Carl Leslie, appeared in court recently on those charges in the Flagstaff area. So this was the FBI Pinetop Lakeside office handling the investigation. We spoke to the special agent in charge of the whole FBI Phoenix Field Division, so he's in charge there. And really, they want to make sure that any other potential victims come forward, because you look at that time span, they believe that Leslie targeted men and women over like a 4 to 5 year span while he was on duty. So there's a lot of people to come in contact with.
Now, I may have missed it in the story, but he's no longer with the police department.
No longer, yeah.
But did he get fired because of these allegations against him, or was this something else?
That's unclear whether he was terminated or resigned. So we're trying to find out more about his personnel file. A little bit more challenging in this realm because he's with a tribal police department. So if he was certified with the AZ Post, then maybe we can find records with them. It's an Arizona Peace Officers Standards Training Board, basically. Okay. I may have it a little mixed up, but basically, they handle, what ethics and what codes that anyone with a peace officer certification has to follow. So if he is indeed certified with them, then maybe we'll find out more. But right now, the ultimate point is that they want more people to come forward if they have information on this guy to build the case. Because right now it's 3 alleged victims, and then one of them being a minor. So this is a very egregious case, and it looks like they've been working on it for a while, because the alleged incidents happened sort of between this 2020 and 2023, specifically in that time span.
Now, it's kind of, correct me if I'm wrong, this is kind of small town. So you would think that over the span of that many years that people would maybe know that he was doing this, or there had been maybe rumors circulating in the town. I know we don't work in rumors here, but people must have known something was up,
or
right?
sometimes, people, when you have somebody of position of power,
exactly,
you could be a little scared to come forward.
Exactly.
So maybe that's why it took 5 or so years to come.
Yeah, from what we know, he worked within the White River area. But you have the White Mountain Apache Tribal Police Department that covers different towns, different communities, and then you have this whole reservation which has thousands of tribal members. And going back to the whole rumor term, on social media and on Facebook, I've heard this name. I've seen this name many times from people saying, investigate him, look into him. But at that point, there wasn't a lot that was not necessarily documented, but out there, on the surface coming from law enforcement. And now the other day, to give you guys context on how we found out about this, that, I got tips that he had been arrested at a home in Canyon Day. There was FBI and SWAT. Wednesday morning, an FBI put out a press release looking out for more information. They temporarily took that down and put it back up with an updated press release and a questionnaire for people to fill out. But the point was, a lot of people know what's going on even before the FBI or authorities have said something, because of that tight-knit community vibe. But this name has been circulating out there for a while, and then we're able to confirm the information, speak to the FBI, talk to other sources, and then the indictment was recently unsealed after his court appearance. So there's going to be more to come out. It's just going to take time. And when you have other potential victims, if convicted on these counts, he's facing a maximum sentence of life in prison. This is very serious. Yeah, federal charges. This is a big case there, and this is actually a well-known name.
Allegedly,
yeah. And so very concerning, horrific allegations that we're dealing with here.
Have you tried to reach out to him specifically?
Yeah, that I have not been, as he is now in federal custody.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
That's a little bit of a challenge. Sure. And I'm sure that there are family members out there that are upset, and there's a lot of talk on social media for some reason. I know everyone uses Facebook, but definitely tribal members, I've noticed, Facebook is a huge way to communicate. A lot of these, communities do watch our station, and I think that there is an appreciation too that we're covering this case as much as we have, as well as Chairman Casey Velasquez, who I should also mention, that case was referred to the DOJ, to the U.S. Attorney's Office. We are waiting to see if he will be charged with any sexual misconduct charges in that case. So you have to ask, what is happening in this area? What's happening in this community? And I think that's where tribal members are glad that more is coming out. Yes.
How long has he not been with the police department for?
Since June 2024, according to investigators. So there's been some time.
Yeah. Well, Justin, I'm sure you're going to put your nose to the grindstone like you always do with these cases.
We had
always
a comment from somebody, I can't remember who. It says, if Justin's knocking at your door,
be scared.
It's not a good day.
Yeah, it's not a good day when Justin's
because stuff is
going down.
Coming out.
We try.
Well, Justin, thank you. We appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
All right, you too.
Thanks, Justin.
See ya.
All right.
Always good to see you.
Our next story, we are talking about the real estate market here in our state. It's up, it's down, it's all around.
Interest rates.
I know. You name it. There's all sorts of different things going on. So we decided we were going to bring in our real estate expert. He's been on the show before. You know him. You love him. I feel like like those old-timey DJs. Here he is, Greg.
Hello.
Greg, good morning.
Good to see you guys. How's it
Welcome
going?
back. All right, so let's get right into it because I think as we head into a new year, everyone's kind of trying to get that crystal ball to see what is the market going to look like. 25 was kind of volatile. We saw those high interest rates, which were keeping a lot of folks, I guess, stuck in their house because they didn't want to sell because they don't want to then have to take on a giant interest rate.
Yep.
So what do you think is going to be happening now?
So, I mean, it's tough to know for sure. If I had the crystal ball, I'd tell you guys, I promise. But I think that we're going into more of a balanced market. So I think that sellers are starting to see that, if their houses are sitting for a long time, that they probably don't want that. So they're maybe giving more towards the concessions or they're being more lenient on what the offers that they are getting. And I think that buyers, same thing, they're starting to see that maybe, the interest rates aren't going to just fall off a cliff and be back to, what we saw during the kind of COVID craziness. I don't think we'll ever see those numbers again. So I think that the expectations on both sides of things are getting to a more normal market. And I hope that's the case. That way, people can start purchasing homes again. And now 2025 still, it was a good year. There's a lot of homes that were traded hands and the inventory's gone up, which is great for people because instead of, there being no houses to look at. And if you're looking in a certain area, there's 2 houses to look at, 3 houses to look at.
And you're almost forced to buy one of them because there's no other option.
Exactly. So now, I mean, we're at about 24,000 on inventory now. So it's way up from what it was, which is great. I mean, having more options gives people more, to look at and more to, instead of being like, well, I guess this will work, they have actually what they're getting, like what they want.
And some of the houses, I mean, is there ever going to be a point where I look at houses in Zillow all the time, just out of curiosity and stuff. Some of these prices, like you said, are COVID prices where we were seeing just ridiculous.
And those houses were selling in days. And there was multiple offers.
Going to come back down to reality. And I think also, too, as a seller, you're probably thinking, like, these people got
a good
all this money back then. Like, I want to get.
Yeah, I think it's tough. I think it comes down to when you bought the house. If you bought the house in 1990 or early 2000 and you have a crazy amount of equity, like, you can not sell and you're still fine. You can rent it out. You can there's kind of many alternatives. So the people that bought back then kind of have more options with that. But if you bought during 2022, then you maybe don't have as much options on the table for you.
All right, we got to hit a break in 30 seconds. Okay. But I have so many questions I've been writing down. So we're going to have a quick break, and then we're going to have much more with Greg talking real estate. If you at home have any questions for Greg about if you're a buyer, a seller, if maybe you're renting and you've always kind of been looking, put your questions in the chat. We're going to have much more with Greg coming up in 2 minutes after this quick break. All right, welcome back, you guys. We have Greg here with us, a real estate expert here in the Valley, and we've been talking about these home prices. And I want to kind of circle back to a couple things you were talking about, the inventory.
Yes.
Towards the end of 2025, you said that things were kind of evening out, but I felt like earlier it was kind of a seller's market because there was not a lot on them.
And then it transferred to a buyer's market, right?
So there was kind of a spike at the end of the year. We got, I think at the peak it was like closer to like 27,000 houses on the market. And now we've kind of, and partially I'm going to say is during the, the holiday time frame.
Sure.
People are like, I don't want to sell, I don't want to buy. So it kind of just a little bit flatlines, maybe not all the way, but flatlines a little bit. So that probably had some to do with it, but the inventory has came back down to around like 23,000.
Okay.
And that's the Valley too. That's not just like, just Phoenix.
Right,
that's
the entire metro area.
Because peak season would be what? I'm assuming people aren't moving here in the summer. That's like another low point, or
it is kind of like a cyclical, I guess you could say, where it's like early in the year you kind of get the new year, new me. I'm going to buy a house. So early in the year, and plus when the weather starts, being amazing Arizona weather, we have that like March. There's kind of peaks there, and then it does when it gets hot. Yeah, of course you don't want to go sweat your butt off to go look at a house. So kind of goes like an S curve, and when it starts getting nice again, same thing, and then back to the holiday season.
Got it.
I wanted to ask you too about, you mentioned concessions, and that's kind of a big word that I like a lot of folks are kind of ways to kind of wheel and deal, so to speak, when it comes to buying a home. Can you explain what some of these concessions that you're seeing out there that folks are kind of going after?
Of course. So concessions are great. I mean, that 50% of houses roughly are getting concessions right now. What that means is when let's just say I'm the buyer's agent, I am going in and asking for the seller to pay for a certain amount, whatever we can get agreed upon, to cover certain things like closing costs. So at the end of the day, you're not coming out of pocket as much, or for a buy down. So a rate buy down, we know that those interest rates have been kind of rough lately. So if you are able to work out where you get either, a 2-1 or a 1-1 or some type of buy down, that means that your interest rate for the first year or second year is going to come down, whatever you agree upon for the 2 or the 1 or however you land with. So then it kind of makes it more, it gives you opportunity to regain that money that you put down on the house over the next few years, and then get to that par level, paying what for the rest of your mortgage would be.
Now, that's when you obviously need to be working with a real estate agent, because that negotiation can go back and forth for quite a while before you guys come to kind of the terms.
Yeah, and what's huge about that too is if you look at the numbers, if you were to take $10,000 and take it off of the purchase price of the home, you might save maybe $40 or $50 a month. But if you do a buy down for that first year, you're saving $300 or $400 a month. The numbers might be a little bit off there, but you're pretty close. I mean, when it comes down to monthly payment, I think that's the most important thing when you're looking at. I mean, when you see a house that's listed for $500,000, you're like, wow, that's a lot of money, or $600 or whatever the number may be. But it really comes down to what you're paying per month. It's kind of the same thing. If you looked at what your house would cost you to rent for the year, you'd be like, that's a lot of money compared to when it's marketed. It's $2,000 a month or whatever the number is. So it makes it, I think it's most important to look at the number that your mortgage would be per month versus, obviously it matters what you're buying the house at, but
what you're
monthly is what it's going to come down to.
That's what's going to come out of your bank account every month.
Exactly. And older homes, newer homes, are we seeing any trends with that of people?
That's what I was just going to ask. Yeah.
If it comes on the person, I would say if you are comfortable with, putting some sweat equity into the house, then you have a lot of opportunity to gain equity in that house and, have some money in your back pocket when if you do have to sell or whatever the case. If you don't want to go that route, then buying a new house, there's a lot of great incentives with the new builds. Yeah, I mean, and the new builds are offering lower interest rates. They're offering packages for backyards or for like the appliances and things like that. So there is a lot of benefits on both sides of it. It just comes down to I guess the person overall.
Greg, where are you seeing what price range are you seeing is stagnant? And which price range are you seeing that's really starting to pick back up?
It's tough. You kind of see it, I would say, even throughout. The lower portions around like the 400 range, there's not as many, so you're not going to get. I was going to
say, where do you find those at?
Yeah, those are few and far between, but it depends on location, obviously. But between that 400 and 500 range, which is technically the median price, there's not as many. There's more competition because that's where more people are buying at. So that range probably moves a bit quicker just because it's a lower dollar amount overall. And the luxury market can take longer too. So if you're looking in those $1 to $2 million house range, there's not as many, but your pool is smaller, so those aren't moving as quickly.
Interesting.
What about? We always talk about what it called when you get the house gets stink on it because it's been on the market for so long? What's the insider word?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, when a house sits on the market for a super long time, it kind of gets that like, what's wrong with it?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yep.
Why is it doing that? There's a million different reasons. I would say in this market, it's mostly that it's probably priced too high.
Yep.
That's if on the selling side of things, I'm a selling agent, which if you go to the market too high, you're likely going to sit.
Yeah.
We're already average days on market is between like 60 and 75. You're already sitting for a couple months.
Yeah.
So I mean,
People
if you're
get
starting,
very emotional about it.
Of course.
So it's
Yeah.
as a seller, sometimes you got to take the emotion out of it, which is hard to do.
Of course it is. It's your home, especially if you've lived in there for a long time. You love
Raise
that
your
place more
kids,
than you love that place, and now it's like I'm trying to sell it, no one wants it. What the heck? What's going on?
Yeah.
So just being, looking at the numbers more so than, well, my neighbor sold for that much. That doesn't necessarily
mine is too.
Exactly.
All right, Greg, we've got to wrap things up. How do folks get a hold of you?
Yeah, so you can either find me on my website at yourgilbertazrealtor.com or my social media. I'd love to post fun stuff on social media, so at Gregory K Real Estate. Find me there and follow me, or shoot me an email over on my website, and we can get in contact.
The website one more time.
yourgilbertazrealtor.com.
That's a
really
good
quick.
website.
What's the like fastest growing community? Would you say? Like, where are more
That's
people
so tough.
moving?
Queen Creek is going
it's huge.
crazy.
Yeah.
They got a Costco, so things are going good.
Yeah.
What more do you need?
Maybe I'm biased. I love Gilbert, but there's a ton of markets. So it just depends on what you need, where you're working at, where your location is. There's a lot of good areas.
Awesome. Yeah, that's what my dad says. If you can't find it at Walmart or Costco, you don't need it.
Oh,
probably
words to live by.
They don't have
Daddy Miller with the words to live by.
That's right. You don't need it. So.
Greg, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, guys.
It's great to see you. Happy New Year, by the way.
Thank you. Yes,
right.
happy selling.
Happy selling and happy buying, maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
More buying.
There you go.
All right, take a look at this. You probably recognize this if you have lived in the Valley for a while. Durant's, and man, it is such an institution here in the Valley. Have you ever been there?
I hate to say this, I have not.
Oh. Well,
so
you know what?
I think now I'm going to get the invite, hopefully.
I'd like to
I think I'm going to know some people who know some people at the place.
We have Oliver here. You are Durant's Chief Brand Officer. That is quite the title, Oliver.
It is. It's truth is, I have a nice smile and I'm good with a broom. The rest of it, just a title.
I feel like that's me here.
Yeah, right?
How long have you been there for?
I've been working for Mike and Jeff Mastro for 34 years.
Oh, my goodness.
I started when I was 19 years old. And our other restaurants in the city, Steak 44 and Ocean 44 and Dominic Steakhouse, and now very excitedly Durant's.
This is so cool.
So now I don't feel so bad because I go to Ocean 44 and Steak 44 all the time. So I don't feel
all
so
the time. Lots done.
Well,
over
no,
here.
I mean for like fancy dinners.
Yeah, that's true.
That's great. I love that.
When I'm not paying.
She's smart. Oliver, let's talk about this because you guys underwent a massive kind of, I don't want to say rebrand, but a massive kind of
remodel.
What would you
the best way to say it, I think, is it was a restoration.
I love that word.
We really wanted to, Mike and Jeff's goal, and they really did it, was to preserve all of the charm and the legacy of Durant Steakhouse, and then, steward it into a new decade, a new generation, a next 75 years, if you will. I mean, it's such a special place, and we were able to do that. It took about 10 months, and a really fun, interesting project. That was, unique first time for us. We'd never had an acquisition before, and being able to do that with such a storied brand is special.
And you guys kept some of the history, obviously. I mean, just
all of it. I mean, the booths that you're seeing, although we those are reupholstered, and we preserved as much of the original wallpaper as we could, and the walk through the kitchen, the iconic walk through the kitchen at Durant's is still there. Now it's into a new kitchen, of course, but the walk is the same. And the bar's in the same place. Nothing like that changed or moved. It just got a great refresh.
And you know what? I love it. I mean, it is a piece of Arizona history. It really is.
For sure.
Deals were done in the booths there. I mean, the history, if those walls could talk. I mean, and I know we interviewed you guys kind of before it started, and you guys really said that was so important to you, is to keep that nostalgia, because you don't want to totally wipe it off the face of the earth, but you wanted to enhance it.
Quite the opposite. You want to preserve it and make sure it doesn't go anywhere, and put it into a spot where it's ready to continue in that legacy, but never lose all that specialness that was there. Those are iconic tables and booths and the things that that happened in there to really build Arizona into what it is today.
And the food, we're seeing shots, and it looks absolutely delicious.
Insane.
But,
the food has always been top notch.
Chef Felix and Chef Mark have done some amazing things with the food. Keeping Durant's menu, their very traditional porterhouse for two, but done our style as you would expect from our other restaurants. Enhancing the food quality, but keeping the nostalgic menu, things like lobster thermidor and prime rib. You don't see that on menus anymore. And having that, bringing back the relish tray and a great bread service.
Oh, that bread! I just looked at it.
Things.
Oh boy,
we love carbs around here, Oliver.
Yes,
we can certainly help with that.
And you guys know how to make a very good dirty martini, if I do say so myself.
Well, that is part of the magic, and especially so today we have a special event happening at the restaurant with Greater Phoenix Leadership, wonderful Valley Institution as well, and having a charity event for our first day of lunch.
Yes.
We're going to do Friday only lunch at Durant's. Super exciting. Starts next week. And you'll be able to come in, for Durant's was iconic for, the power lunch is back in Phoenix. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And
especially on a Friday.
Yeah. And why not make it a Friday? So it's 1 day a week only. It'll be a special occasion, every week. And, you'll just, people I think will look forward to, and it's selling out and we're excited about it. So
Oliver, that was one of the questions we had from some of the folks in the chat. Are reservations readily available? Because I know when you guys first opened, people were getting those reservations left and right.
They,
it was hard to get in.
Are, and fortunately, it's still that way.
Okay.
But there are always a few. I think, and we try to open up a few daily as we can. And people's plans change.
That's true.
So there's always some cancellations and things like that. So I'd encourage everybody to give us a call if you prefer, or you can check the website, durantsteakhouse.com. But there's always that kind of rotating last minute change of plans and that's it. Lunch also, next week's full, but the week after that's almost full. So it's really, it's exciting to see how warmly received the brand is and how much people really enjoy it. We're just thrilled to be a small part of it.
We got about a minute left, but I wanted to ask you, obviously this has been such an institution in the Valley for so long, and you've had your long timers, your usuals. Have some of those usuals come back and kind of given you their...
Has Dave Muncy been there?
Yeah,
That's all I'm curious, because I remember Dave Muncy, that's all he would talk about is Durant's. And I think it was on Friday nights. He'd go there on break and come back and tell us what he had. And
I have not seen him, but
Dave, where are you? Your table's waiting.
But funny enough, I had a meal with John Hook there.
Yeah,
he was talking all about how much Dave enjoyed it, and I hope to get him there.
That's all he talked about.
I love it. That's great.
Like, I know Durant's through Dave Muncy.
Well, I think he taught all of us about Durant's when we all moved. First, we're here. He's like, well, you got to go to Durant's.
You got to go to Durant.
And we're like, all right, Dave.
What a wonderful compliment that is with all the great restaurants in the city, and for Durant's to stand out like that, it's just really special.
Well, Oliver, thank you so much for coming in. It was so nice to talk to you again.
Now.
We're hungry now.
So, are they delivering lunch?
Yeah, reservation for two. We're going to be down here in an hour.
All right, let's go wrap it up.
All right.
Let's do it.
Bye, guys.
All right, good morning, you guys. Thanks for staying with us here all the way through 11:30 on Fox 10 Talks. You are seeing that snowy, cold picture there of Flagstaff, enjoying some of that snow after all of that weather activity that we have had the last overnight. So we have a special guest for you today. I'm going to bring up our three-shot here, you guys. We've got Syleste co-hosting today with Rono. Good to be with you.
Hi, good morning. And a very special guest who also has a guest.
Yes.
Here this morning.
Friend of the show, Terry.
I'm a special guest, and he's the addition.
Right. Yeah, that's your plus one, right?
Exactly. I'm the plus one.
And Terry, who's your plus one? Introduce us to him.
I'm Winston the impersonating turtle.
Hi, Winston. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm excited. We have a show at, can I say? No, you can't. No. We're at the Gila. Oh, it's Gila. Yeah, Gila. I can't take him anywhere.
We're
at the
Winston.
Gila River Resort. Is that what it is?
Gila River Casino.
Gila River Casino and Resort.
And
That's
Chandler.
it. Yeah. So, very excited, and it's a brand new show. So I've been in Vegas for 18 straight years, and I've probably written the show 30 times. Yes, ventriloquist, comedian, singer.
I sing. He doesn't.
Yes, I do.
He doesn't sing as well as me.
Winston, maybe you sing. He dances.
No, he doesn't. Trust me.
No, I do not dance. It's like God gave me all this talent, and he just said, no dancing. No, we're not going to give him that talent. But
what's it been like living in Vegas all those years?
Amazing. Well, I thought I was going to miss Dallas. I grew up in Dallas my whole life. And then I won America's Got Talent in 2007, and immediately...
Incredible. And that was the second season, right?
It was the second season, yes.
Wow.
And so what a surreal experience to have that happen. And so I started performing in Vegas, and so within a couple of years, I moved there, and I became a resident, and I thought it was going to be different.
But, I'm a turtle, so, we're okay with the desert.
Right. But it wasn't a difficult change at all. I've really become a part of the Las Vegas community, and I love it.
It's interesting when you hear about people who live in Las Vegas. I think it's they don't go to the Strip unless they need to go to the Strip.
Never.
Whereas all the rest of us, we go there for the
That's
Strip.
all you see. Well, before I moved there, I would go there at least 2 times a year just to go to some things and go to shows and eat and walk the Strip.
Yeah.
And I never saw how beautiful the Las Vegas area is.
It is beautiful. Lots of good turtles.
Well, we are so excited to have you here in the Valley. And as you mentioned, we've got some video too. We're going to roll that this is a new show. So for folks that have seen you quite a few times before, what's going to be different tonight?
It's going to be it's really hard to describe. Can I describe it? Absolutely.
Winston, who is your friend that you see up on stage? Who is this? You have many different friends, right, Terry?
That is Vicky the Cougar that you see.
Oh.
And she's flirting with somebody in the audience, which she will do tonight at the show. The name of the show is Pure Imagination, and what I wanted to do was...
I like that guy. He had a Bills shirt on.
Yes, he did.
Talked about
that. That was up in Niagara Falls. That's where we filmed that right there. And
look, there I am.
Yeah, you look good on camera.
I do.
Yes.
Wow.
You shine.
I don't even have makeup on.
I know. Your eyes.
He looks wonderful. But the show is really about how we use our imagination to create a new world, a completely different world. And it's a place where people can forget their troubles. I know the world is a scary place, and people are worried about this and worried about that. And you come here, and we just use our imagination.
Puppets come to life.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I like puppets.
I do too.
How many do you have?
I've got over 50, which is a dream because when I was 10, I became a ventriloquist. I found a book in my school library on how to do ventriloquism, and I would sit and I would dream of these catalog puppets, and I couldn't afford any of them. And my first professional puppet, who, by the way, will be the first puppet that is in the show tonight.
Not his favorite, his first.
Right.
His first.
I'm
right. Very important to know, not the favorite.
Yes. But he is my very first professional puppet. It took me 8 years to save up the money for him. They're very expensive. They're even more expensive now, but back then, they can range, some of my puppets are $15,000, $30,000, for the really big ones.
The cost of a car.
Yeah, the cost of a car.
Yes.
Yeah. The difference is I
today.
make money with my puppets, so I can, I can actually get the money back by performing.
Yeah. Wow.
But I think at the time they were $5,000.
Okay.
You know, this is 1975, and so I had to save my money, and I saved my money for 8 years, and I was able to buy one. I got a discount too, and he's still in my show.
And I found it fascinating. You started at the age of 10, and we were talking about that off camera too. You said anybody can do this, but you were born with some level of talent. But I found it fascinating how you kind of perfected being able to have that conversation basically with yourself at the dinner table with your family.
I did, yes.
Well, I don't know this story.
You don't?
No.
Well, then listen.
Oh, I'm so interested.
So I started doing ventriloquism, and we were talking about this. Anyone can learn to be a ventriloquist, but I think you have to be born with a certain type of mouth, and there's something, I don't know what that secret is, but to be a really, really, really good one, you have to be born with a gift. You have to be born with, it's kind of like I was saying to you, a lot of people can sing, but there's only one Celine Dion, right? So that's kind of the way ventriloquism is. But when I was 10, I started doing ventriloquism, and I really wanted to get a rapport with the puppet. So
like what?
Well, like we're seeing now.
Where's the puppet?
We'll talk later. Anyway. So, I had a very hard time with kind of separating that, and it just didn't feel right. So I told my parents, I said, and my family, I had a brother and sister, and I said, I'm going to bring the puppet. I'll go to dinner. We're going to have he's going to be at the dinner table. We're going to be sitting around. Anytime we're doing a family thing, the puppet's going to be there.
And you prefaced it by telling him, I'm not
crazy.
I'm
not crazy. I'm not crazy. I said, I just want us to learn how to treat this like a member of the family. And I did that for about 6 months, and it paid off, obviously.
Wow. If we can back up just a little bit, because you approach your parents and you say, this is something I want to do. But what was it about ventriloquy that drew you? What was it? The art of it? Was it being friends with Winston? What was it?
That's an interesting question. I knew I wanted to be an entertainer. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I wanted to be either an actor or a singer or something. And every year, from the time I was 5 years old, I would do the school talent shows. And so I would sing, and then at one point I did a magic show, and at one point I played the piano. I don't play the piano anymore, unfortunately, but I would do a little. And I found this book, and I thought, there's no ventriloquists in the school. I'd be the only one. There was always 3 or 4 magicians, always 3 or 4 musicians, always 3 or 4 singers. And I thought, nobody else is doing this. And for some reason, it just captured my imagination. I loved the idea of creating characters, that came out of me.
I didn't come out of you.
And you have so much experience, and you've been doing this for so long, about 200 shows you were telling me, in a typical year for you.
That's
that
just
is
in Vegas.
Lot.
That's not even including my road shows. Yeah.
Wow.
Like the one you're doing
18
here
years,
tonight.
right.
Wow. So what is it? How many of you are there? Professional ventriloquists? As working as you.
Actually, there's a lot more than you think. People say, isn't ventriloquism a dying art? It really never has been. It's just not been in the public eye. There have been times when it was really popular. Back in the 30s, for 20 years, back in the early 1900s, there was for 20 to 30 years, there was a ventriloquist that was one of the most popular radio shows in the world. I mean, this guy was hugely popular, and then it kind of waned, and then others came along, Sherry Lewis, Jimmy Nelson, and then Jeff Dunham started to kind of revive it in the 80s and 90s, and Willie Nelson and Tyler, Willie Tyler, and he was a great ventriloquist.
Well, you have a Willie Nelson.
Yeah, I do have a Willie Nelson
don't you?
puppet. That's probably why I thought Willie Nelson, but Willie Tyler and Lester, what they call. And then, of course, when I won America's Got Talent, I think there was a massive explosion of interest in ventriloquism. And now there's a lot of people making a living doing ventriloquism. Yeah.
So how, if you can, to the best of your ability, explain how it happens? Like when we hear Winston's voice, right, Winston?
Yeah.
How do you practice that as like a child?
Well, they're really interesting because there are things that you can do. There are exercises that you have to do, just like vocal exercises.
Let's try one.
La 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 la. What, the vocal?
Do, re, mi,
with a ventriloquist,
are you going to do this?
Yes, I am. You have to, in order to learn how to throw your voice. Like, for example, if I wanted to throw my voice, I would say, "Are you over there?"
Yeah, I'm doing okay.
So it just sounds like it's far away. So you do you do these vocal exercises, and it takes years to do this. You go, I would count down my puppet like he was going downstairs. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Why don't you count down going down the stairs?
Okay, I'll count the stairs.
All right, here we go.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Are you at the bottom?
I'm at the bottom.
Okay, come on up.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And then it would sound, so that's how you how you learn how to do that. And I did that thousands of times when I was a kid.
Is that how you lured your wife in?
Yes. I kept telling her, "You love me."
No, I don't.
Well, we've got about 2 minutes left. I have to ask Winston here a little bit about him, and maybe what's the funniest joke, Winston, that you're able to share with us?
Oh man, I don't know many funny jokes. I'm just a funny turtle.
Well, I like your bow tie, Winston.
Thank you.
It's very fancy.
Yeah.
Winston, you have many friends, right, back at home.
Do.
Who do you have a best friend at home?
Yeah, probably Maynard Tompkins, the world's greatest Elvis impersonator.
That is perfect in Vegas.
In Vegas, yeah.
Well, it's funny because Maynard is one of my favorite characters.
I'm his favorite character.
Yes, that's true. He is my favorite character.
Probably true.
But Maynard is an Elvis impersonator who claims to be the world's greatest Elvis impersonator, but he actually doesn't know any Elvis songs.
Yeah.
So that was one of my and the reason Winston doesn't know any jokes is because we don't tell jokes. All of the humor in my show comes out of the characters. It's character humor, right?
As well,
so,
right?
Yes,
like
in
the
audience.
So like the tape.
Yes, so the puppets will flirt with one of my puppets, Walter, my cowboy character, will flirt with the lady in the audience. And
okay, Walter.
so the humor comes out of the character. I love situational and character humor. So we're not big joke. It's not like set up punchline, which is typically right. Typical.
Yeah, and then you get to meet them.
I find the humor in with Dougie Scott Walker, who is the stoner that lives in his mom's basement, and that's where the humor comes from. Is his, dude, how you doing, dude, and so that's
the show.
But it's truly pure imagination. I can tell you, an hour and a half, you will forget your worries, you forget your problems. You're going to leave on a high, feeling good about yourself, feeling good about life, and that's really what I'm on earth to do.
And that's the perfect way we'll end it there. We've got 30 seconds left, so we'll remind everybody where they can go ahead and watch Terry 8 o'clock tonight.
8 o'clock tonight
Gila River Resorts and Casinos.
No, it's Gila. You keep saying Gila.
Yeah. And see, that's what I do. I like to have him correct me because that makes him more real.
What do you mean?
Yeah. So that's what I do.
I'll quick note here in Chandler, there are not very many tickets left.
No, there's not. So
it's
get your
almost
tickets.
a sold-out show at Gila River Resorts Casinos. Wild Horse Pass in Chandler, Arizona. Winston, it was a pleasure to meet you.
Winston, thank you so much. All right, you'll see these two tonight.
Terry, nice to see
Here's
you.
our mystery cam, you guys. Get your guesses in. Where could this be? We'll be right back after the break. You were great. We are seeing a couple of you get those guesses in. Jordan of Sonora thinking, you know what? This is so flat. I'm thinking it's Kansas. Husky Mom says Texas.
We've got a couple of other options. Well, Husky Mom says, Texas, Oklahoma with Lil Philosophy, and Louis Gonzalez, Oklahoma as well. And I don't know, it looks pretty flat, but still pretty green as well.
Yeah. What do you have a guess? I think, honestly, guys, I didn't give this too much of a look. I'll go with Jared of Sonora. You got the first guess in today. I'll go Kansas.
You're going to go Kansas?
Sure. Yep. Is that your mic?
And then I think I'll go Nebraska just for fun.
Okay. All right. Well, let Celeste reveal the answer today.
Here is your mystery camera. Oh, Odessa, Texas.
Oh.
The Lone Star State.
All right, Husky Mom, you were right today. Good job.
Way to go.
All right. Well, you guys, we have another guest for you today, and it is Luma from with AI Google searches and what is trending right now, especially after the new year. Luma, good morning. Thanks for joining us. We know a lot of folks have set high expectations for themselves here in 2026. So let's start with some of the most searched resolutions. What are people trying to do and accomplish in the new year?
100%. Hey, everyone. It's so great to be here. Thank you for having me. I've been doing this for a few years now, so I'm especially excited about this year because last year we saw a ton of search interest amongst really, really intense workouts. So these are, 75 hard, 30-day challenges, all of those things. This year, a top search was actually realistic health goals. And we're seeing people turn to our AI solutions such as Gemini to create personalized keyword realistic health goals. And I'm rooting for them. I'm hoping that this really works out this time.
Luma, the whole idea of using AI, I think it's kind of become a part of our life, right? I mean, it's what we do on a daily basis. When it comes to like travel planning, you all at Google are doing an amazing job helping us kind of navigate some of these issues. How are you helping us figure out where we want to go next?
Oh, I love that question. I'm a huge traveler myself, so I love that you're letting me talk about travel. We really want to simplify here, right? We don't want you to have to go through billions and billions of searches to find something that you're looking for when you're not even sure what you're looking for yourself. So if you're looking to go to spring break, it's as easy as going to Gemini or going to search and saying, hey, I have this week off. I want to go somewhere sunny. Maybe I have a gluten intolerance, so I need to stay somewhere that can be accommodating to that. Help me figure this out, and we will do all that work for you.
Oh, I love that. So in relation to those like travel searches, then part of that is finding the best deal as well. Are you able to share maybe like one of those popular deals and destinations?
Yeah, 100%. So there's many ways that you can put on what we call deal tracking or price tracking. So once you interact with Gemini and you decide that you want to book a flight, perhaps to Cabo, for example, that's a personal dream of mine, so we'll use that. You can ask Gemini to track the deal of that flight for you so that it alerts you when the flight is cheaper. Usually, statistically, we see that on Tuesdays, which I think is super interesting, but it could truly be any day depending on the time and place that you're traveling.
We're showing some of the video from your company, and it's really interesting because not only, right, Luma, can it help you get there or plan it out, but you have all these great restaurant ideas or coffee shops or, little maybe windows into the city, the little jewels that you may not know about just from searching online.
Yeah, 100%. And we get so much great input of that through Google Maps, but now integrated into Gemini and flights as well, through reviews, through other things of that sort. So we're really trying to get you as much information as possible, as easy as possible to save you time. That's the real beauty of all of these things, is it's a time-saving tool, which we all know that we need some more time these days.
Yeah, we do. And folks in our chat this morning, they're commenting and kind of following along in our conversation, Luma. Little Philosophy says, hola, Luma. Cool name. So I thought that was a nice little comment we'd share with you. And Darla Nicole here in our chat as well this morning says, my goal in life is to travel when I have the available time. So it is nice that we now have, AI and tools like this to now help with that. So what are some of the other searches involving health goals this year? People are looking for help to stay active, get better sleep, and what else?
Yeah, well, first off, I love this chat. This is amazing. I love reading these. I'm seeing these right now. Thank you so much for the interaction, y'all. Keep it coming. I love it. One thing that I thought was quite interesting this year that I didn't see as much last year was people didn't even know what they wanted their goals to be to start. So we've talked through the example where you decided you want to travel more or you want to work out more. There were actually millions and millions of users who went to Gemini and said, I actually don't know what I want to do better this year. Where do I start? And that actually kicks off more so of a reflection exercise in terms of what are your personal goals? What would you like to improve? Whether that be drinking more water every day, or personally for me, I ended up on take more steps every day through my Fitbit. I'll be tracking that.
That's amazing. Luma, let's move on here to AI and how Gmail is helping with that effort. I'm going to be completely transparent here. I pulled up my Gmail box. I've got 13,785 emails. How can Gmail help me?
Oh my gosh, I am the most excited about these updates. So the first thing here that I can see that y'all are sharing is AI overviews in Gmail. So gone are the days where you have to filter through 501 quotes that you sent to a random plumber because you needed to get something fixed. AI will tell you, hey, this was the best quote that you got from that plumber. Here's their email. Go ahead and respond.
Oh, wow.
My favorite tip, which is personally saving me so much time, is help me write within Gmail. So you can go ahead and write your email as usual, put all that important information in there, and then Gmail will help you proofread it, summarize it, format it better, and make sure that it's fully good to go before you send it over.
Oh, that's really nice, because sometimes we're on the go and sending emails quickly, so it's nice to have that gloss over before you hit the send button. Any new tool as it relates to Gmail to help us clear up our inbox of all of these thousands of emails that maybe we haven't gotten to? Because deleting emails is quite difficult.
Yes, we are doing a lot of decluttering tools. So what we'll also put in for you is this new one-click response. So if you're filtering through emails, mobile or desktop, and you have, I don't know, maybe 13,000 of them, we'll actually offer some really quick one-click responses for you, such as, sounds good, thanks, or no problem, that works for me, based off of the context of the email. So obviously we'll make sure there's relevance there.
You know, I think it's interesting also that your company, you know, for years, like when you were younger, you'd go, okay, well, I'm going to go to the Xerox machine. Or if you wanted a soda, you'd say, I want to grab a Coke. I think Google has become kind of a staple in households. And that's pretty cool, Luma. It's like, oh, I'm just going to Google it. Or, hey, why don't you just Google that?
Yeah, 100%. I remember joining Google almost 6 years ago, and I got a sweatshirt from my mom that says, I don't know, Google it. And I thought that was really fun.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Well, Luma, thank you so much. You've been such a joy to chat with today. We'd love to have you back if you're available anytime.
Come back. I would love to come back. This chat is my favorite thing in the world. So
I love it. Yeah, they're loving your name. If folks need to reach you, what do? Google you?
All these trends at trends.google.com. So everything we just talked about will be right there for them.
Well, if you decide to join the chat, it's super friendly. We appreciate it, Luma. Happy New Year.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Luma.
All right. Wonderful.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah,
okay, I love the new AI Gmail tools. Because I have so many emails that my Gmail is, I have no more storage.
Yeah. Well,
so I'm in that dilemma. Do I buy more or do I try to delete them?
And I think part of it is maybe what she said about helping you write the Gmails, which I think is so important.
Yeah, pretty cool.
All right.
So it is 11:53 right now, you guys. And we have a really cool story to share with you. Swifties are able to take part in something really fun this weekend at a Taylor Swift-themed workout class. Would you go, Celeste?
Absolutely. She's got great music. Let's check in with Danielle. She went.
All right.
Good morning, everyone. We're back here at Groundwork. They have a really cool workout that started here. And now this weekend, there's going to be, 300 or so Swifties?
I know.
Coming together. So, Alexi here, you started this workout a couple years ago? Or?
Yeah, about a year ago here. So I started coaching at Groundwork a year ago. And I just wanted to figure out what was for me, right? Like, what was going to authentically drive my own community? I'm like, it's Taylor. I have to say it. It's Taylor. And that's what we did. And it has been so cool to see the response of the community here in Phoenix. Classes have grown and grown and grown that we've actually outgrown this space. There are 37 benches in here, and I was like, oh, we need more room. So we're doing this weekend at the park at PV. We got over 300 Swifties. It's going to be our own little mini Eras tour.
Oh, my goodness. And so music is all queued up, ready to go. Describe the workout to me. What exactly is it? I know you have the bands here.
Yes. So this is what's so fun about these workouts. It's for all abilities, all levels. People think these bands are not that hard. Trust me, you put these on your butt and you're just like here for a little while, you will get that burn in. So it is a rhythmic-based workout. We're going to be moving to the rhythm of the music with bands. We've got a little hit style. So it's going to just be a lot of fun and high energy. And you know what I tell people? You can modify. You don't have to do that. The only non-negotiable is if you know the lyrics, you better sing the song. That's it. That's all I care about.
Yes, it's going to be very loud there. And you guys even have merchandise that's grown. Your sweater, what you're wearing right now, is going to be for sale.
We've got some hats. It's so exciting to see how much how much the community has just asked for things and want to rep Swifty Lifty Club. And so we've got it all. We've got merch, and we'll have everything there this weekend. It'll also be available on our website if you can't make it this weekend.
So fun. Okay, cue up some music really quick, because this is all to the rhythm, right?
So to show you a little bit.
Yes.
100%. So I'm going. So this is Picture to Burn.
Okay.
So what we do is we listen to the beat of the music. So you're going to put that around your wrist. Your palms are going to face up. We're just going to pull it in, engage our biceps, pull your shoulders back, and it's just out. So we're just going to sit here for a second, and then we're going to kind of push it out, and we'll pull it back in. Yep.
I don't know if I can stand the beat.
I hate that. Yep. That's the music.
Dance.
Oh yeah. And so everyone's dancing, and then we're just going to hold it out and keep pulsing. Palms are going to face each other. Start to pull it overhead. Oh yeah. Pull it back down. And so after a little while, I promise this works, and you can like row, push, row,
to the beat.
That's the music. So everyone's moving in unison. It truly feels like a community. You know, we're all just out there having a good time together. So if you can't make it this weekend, we've got coming up. I actually just dropped this morning, February 1st. So no one knows this yet, but February 1st we have another event, and it's going to be at Biltmore Fashion Mall. So
fun.
Can't make it this weekend. We still want to see you February 1st.
So fun. Once again, website. How do we find out more information?
So best way to find us is on Instagram, Swifty Lifty Club on Instagram, or SwiftyLifty.com.
Awesome.
Swifty Lifty Club on Instagram.
I'm going to have to go home and practice the beats here. Get your 5, 6, 7, 8.
You're going to be in the car like this. You're going to be like, wait, what's that?
Awesome, Alexi. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Yeah, check them out. Swifty Lifties, all the Swifties out there. Come get a good burn on this weekend, and many more to come.
All right. There you have it. That looks like a fun class. And I love the studio, how the lights are kind of dark. It's really setting the mood.
Well, and I think you have that pop of pink, too, that kind of, and then the bands, and I'm sure the instructors got the music going really loud.
Love it. So put it on your calendar for this weekend. Our time is up, you guys. Thanks so much for joining us here on Fox 10 Talks this Friday. We'll send you out with another shot of the mystery cam. Good old Texas. We'll see you on Monday.
Have a great weekend, everyone.